set the table with where we're going on Draymond Green with the fan base based on what's already happened.
Legacy, Mark. Everything in life, if I may, is about a legacy. You're talking about winning the lottery. You couldn't possibly spend all of the money that you would potentially win tonight in Mega Millions in your lifetime.
Try me, Brewsters.
I've seen the way you spend. You wear the same 5 hats. You're a pretty simple guy. And that's not a put down. It's a compliment.
I have about 15 hats, and the other 10 are jealous. You're right. However, it's funny you say that. I was just diving into the budget the other night. Way too much money with the daughter in Starbucks. But go ahead.
No doubt.
All right.
Point being, it would be about what you could do with your money. It would be about your legacy. And when we talk about these pro sports teams, these championship teams, to me, one of the conversations is about legacy. Like Steph, Clay, and Dre in particular. They're getting statues. Well, are they? And to me, Mark, there are different levels to everything. There are levels to this. The first level, the top line level, is what I call geography. And you look at Oracle Park, and the geography of that park is Willie Mays Plaza. That's geography.
Okay.
McCovey Cove, geography. All the various gates would be a slightly lesser version of that same geography. There's the O'Doul Gate, right?
Sure.
The Lefty O'Doul Gate, and you've got the Marshall statue. Statue would be the next level down. Mays has a statue. McCovey has a statue. Juan Marachal has a statue. That's level 2. Level 3 is jersey/number retirement, and we saw that with Buster Posey, right? Did he not get his? No, Matt Cain.
Yeah. No. Will Clark was the recent one.
Will Clark was the recent one. I apologize.
Buster's headed for all that.
Correct.
I would think.
I don't know if Buster gets geography, but
he should.
I think he'll get a statue. He'll be in the squat somewhere.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But will there be like Buster Posey Plaza, or will there be?
They should put a statue right behind the plate where the umpire used to stand.
Pretty good.
When they go to Robos.
But my point is, there are levels to it. The fourth level down is what the Niners do with their 10-year players, where you get like on the Niner Wall of Honor, where if you play 10 years, you automatically go and you get that honorarium. So for me, it comes down to levels. Steph Curry, he's going to get geography.
Top level, no
It'll
doubt.
be like Thrive City will probably become Steph City or something like that. He's getting geography. He's getting a statue. No one will ever wear number 30 again. He's getting it all. Then you get to Clay and Draymond, and that's where I think it becomes interesting because I don't believe, and we'll focus on Draymond for this conversation, I don't think Draymond is statue worthy, and I think that all of these ongoing shenanigans are hurting his legacy in terms of how he's going to be honored when it's all said and done.
That's the statement. Did everybody hear that?
These shenanigans are hurting his legacy.
Do you all
It's an opinion, not a topic. Thank you.
Do you all feel that what's happening now will affect how you feel about him 10 years from now? Because we are very stuck in the soap opera that's happening now and how it affects the Warriors' record next year, current teammates. For those of you who are down on Draymond, has it ruined the future too? Has it ruined post-playing career Draymond Green? I hear everything you said, and in this moment, I understand where you're coming from. However, my guess is that as soon as this whole run is over, it's a standing ovation, full forgiveness, and instead the tone around it after the fact will be like, oh boy, yeah, he's tough nut to crack, that Draymond. He was half a cup of crazy sometimes, and boy, he was tough on everyone around him. But he would drive you crazy some nights. But oh boy, that Draymond, man, he was a centerpiece to the whole damn thing, which is the greatest thing that has ever happened to this organization in its history. And I think he is going to be as beloved as anything not named Curry. And my visual is, you're right that Curry's going to have his own spot. Maybe they even borrow from Yosemite where they've got Curry Village and Camp Curry. You could borrow from all of that. Let's create Curry Village. And instead of camping there, we'll just put statues and everybody can shoot little mini three-pointers and the kids can gather around and, right, there'll be food, all of that, right? He's going to have that. But you're telling me, especially if they do all finish their career in a jersey, you don't think there's a statue or something that is there geographically that's all three of them?
No.
I think there is.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I think that when you look at it, and I laid out the levels, and I base this on what I've seen throughout the course of athletic history, and, Steph Curry's going to get either a plaza or a street or both. He's getting everything. Everything short of Chase Center becoming Curry Center.
You sure?
Well, that's money. And, we're not.
Maybe Steph will buy it.
We're not doing. Yeah,
Steph's got that kind of money.
Yeah, and I don't think that he has that kind of ego though, to where I needed to be, Chef City, the Chef Center, the chef. He's getting it all. Klay Thompson, I think, when it comes to a statue, is more statuesque in this conversation than Draymond Green. And, Klay's will have a statue and a plaque commemorating the 37-point quarter and coming back from the multiple injuries. And his statue probably will be out by the water, also commemorating the fact that he loves the water and he's got a boat. Maybe it's Klay Thompson dock when all that is done. I just think that when it all comes down to it, Draymond Green, he's the third member of the Troika.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody's ever mad about a statue. It's something we talk about when everybody is still active. Remember when Kevin Durant suggested that he deserves one? And yes, you do, or no, you don't, or yes, you do, or no, you don't. The truth of the matter is, if the Warriors tomorrow said, we're building a Kevin Durant statue, there'd be discussion about it for a day or two, but at the unveiling, there's not going to be a protest. Nobody is like, you know what, Kevin Durant's actually not that good, and I didn't enjoy that. Nobody actually feels that way. And if you do, you're different.
If they give Kevin Durant a statue, it cheapens every other statue that comes after.
That's fine. But you wouldn't.
It would be a joke.
But you wouldn't go deface it. Like, my point is,
I'm petty, but I'm not that petty.
Well, sometimes. Anyway, so there's no way that there's a big sheet draped over the three-person statue of Steph, Klay, and Dre. And here comes the unveiling, and there's ropes tied to all of it, and we're going to unveil, and everybody's like, boo, like, I don't like that they did that. Nobody would do that. So why would the Warriors try to sort of, I don't know how the rest of their career is going to go, but why would they sort of create that separation? They clearly don't feel that way. They have referenced these three guys the same way the whole time.
But it doesn't mean you have to honor them en masse. Just the fact that they all played together and won together. Are you going to throw in Andre Iguodala in there as well? Iguodala's got 4 titles, does he not?
He didn't play in one of them, but he's going to. There's going to be.
Boy, what a mentorship role!
Yeah, he's an NBA Finals MVP. He's going to have something. I don't know if it's a poster on the side of the wall at Chase Center or something. And yes, he does deserve it. Yes, he does deserve it. I don't like.
Are they going to retire his number? Because to me, that's where we start, and you can go north from there. The low level of all of this is number retirement. Will anyone ever wear number 9, Iguodala's number, again?
Probably. And to me, if they are going to create a separation when it comes to these things, sometimes it's about whether or not somebody ever put on another uniform. And maybe one of the big three will at some point. I don't know. Like Steph and Draymond appear to be signed through the rest of their career. I don't know what's going to happen with Klay.
Right.
And I don't know if a trade is ever going to happen. But Andre Iguodala, while a great warrior and very important, is not a lifetime warrior. That's another thing. They've all talked about being motivated to finish their careers. The Warriors, too. Motivated that the big three finish their career together. If they do, I think it's a slam dunk. You're going to have some sort of something at the arena that commemorates the three as a one. As a one grouping.
You're kind of person.
I don't know if it's a statue or whatever it is.
That to me is a big deal, the statue. It's some sort of something and a statue are separated by about 17 miles of open ocean, in my opinion.
But I mean something, whether it's a statue, you can use other words, a monument of some sort, something outside the arena that people can go take pictures in front of that commemorates the three as a group.
See, I don't think so. I think that something like that would absolutely be inside the stadium, but if you're going outside the stadium, for example, Willie Mays and Willie McCovey are the two greatest Giants of all time. Is it fair to say that in terms of New York to San Francisco?
Well, I mean, somebody's going to yell Barry Bonds, but yeah, go get
fine. I mean, you can. I don't think that Barry Bonds has anything nearly at that level. Does Bonds had his number retired though? Did he not by the Giants?
You're talking about something that's super complex because
it's controversial,
right? And just more recent.
And neither Willie Mays nor Willie McCovey played their entire career with the Giants, yet Willie Mays has a plaza and a statue. Willie McCovey's got a cove and a statue. They're not together, is my point. Steph Curry, his legacy is as the greatest Golden State Warrior in history, and he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. It's a debate for a slower day. Steph Curry gets his own everything outside the stadium.
Sure, of course.
You don't cheapen his legacy by tacking on Clay and Draymond.
Well, no, I didn't suggest that would be the only thing for Steph.
Right.
I just think that it will be in addition to Steph.
Yeah, I think a three-way monument would be inside the arena. Now, if you want to do a Clay something and a Draymond something outside the stadium, you can do that. I just don't think that Draymond Green, I think that his legacy is conflated enough and confused enough by some of the things that have gone on to where he falls short of that level.
Okay, so let's go there for a second. And by the way, thank you, Dublin Marge on YouTube, who tipped me off to this. Apparently, Dario Saric is going to wear number 9.
There you go. Sorry, Dre.
That didn't take long.
Well, he took the number from Ike Diagu anyway.
That's a good point. All right, let's go to what you just said. And let me ask you a question. Are you telling me that what has happened within the last calendar year with Draymond Green has tainted his Warriors legacy?
No, what I'm saying is that what's gone on for the past 11 years has been a part of his legacy. This episode being another example of the sort of confusing roller coaster, polarizing nature of Draymond Green. It's not even Klay Thompson. What's the most controversial thing that Klay Thompson has ever done? Took last summer off?
Yeah, I guess so. I
mean, dated an Instagram model or two?
I think everybody was okay with that.
Right. I mean, Clay's been a Warrior, pun intended. He came back from 2 devastating injuries. He limped out and hit 2 free throws in the finals on a bum leg. He had a 37-point quarter. He's a splash brother. He's a 4-time champ. His image, his legacy is completely untainted.
Yeah. Steph and Klay, the Splash Brothers. There's nothing to see there.
And I think the Draymond Jordan Poole incident is the most dramatic example of the sort of polarizing nature of Draymond Green.
I'll tell you this. I think there's a very healthy portion of the fan base already who thinks he is totally forgiven already. But if you flash forward in the classic phrase of time heals all wounds, like I do not see 10 years from now anybody looking back on this time and going, look, it was 4 rings, maybe it was 5 rings, let's be optimistic, right? Whatever it was a dynasty, greatest period ever known, and Steph, Klay, and Draymond, and it was all wonderful, but if only Draymond had been a nicer guy. I don't think that's going to exist. I think especially as he moves on to whatever he's going to be next, he'll still be, I think, a talker. He'll still have a presence, absolutely more so than Steph and Klay, in fact, in retirement. We will see more of Draymond than we do of the other two. So it's not like he'll be totally gone, but without that sort of daily frustration of, oh, I got 2 technicals last night, got kicked out of a game that they lost by 5. Without that, I don't think the emotions are still going to be there to like hold it against Draymond.
I wonder because the people who are inside the building, and we mentioned this yesterday, and this doesn't only have to do with Draymond Green, but we see and know about probably 1/10 of what goes on in terms of Jordan Poole's cockiness, Draymond Green's confrontationalism. Everything that we know about these players is and just a fraction of what the reality is. So if you're inside that building, what's your frustration level at dealing with all the things that you have to deal with on the daily with these players over the course of 11 years?
Often high.
Yeah.
Often very high. But I also think that that's probably more normalcy than we realize in a situation like this.
With a lot of, alphas in pro sports.
NBA teams are super dramatic. It's like they're super dramatic. The players are very recognizable. They're all like 6 foot, 7 foot, like these huge people, very, very talented athletes, recognizable, don't wear hats and helmets. And there's 12 of them in a tiny little space together. And that's the nature of the NBA. And that goes to what David West famously said years ago. Like, I don't think because the Warriors have been successful that they've ever gone through a year where it was just like, man, that was easy and everybody was just all getting along all the time. Like, I just don't think that's how it works.
Right.
In an NBA locker room. So, sure, Draymond annoys people, period, end of sentence.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's been accepted. It's been not encouraged, but...
it's been enabled.
Sure.
Through their actions and their inactions.
It's been accepted, and in fact, his presence has been highly paid and demanded.
Right.
By everyone who matters in the organization.
It doesn't equate to, therefore, you get a statue, or therefore you get X. I think that what
it doesn't equate to that, but
it's ultimately the organization's decision.
And don't you feel like they feel that way?
We will find out.
Listen to the way they talk about him.
Well, they talk about him in terms of the one thing that he's the best at.
Winning.
Thank you. And beyond that,
that's what leads to statues.
I think that it's more than that.
Who's got the good guy statue? What team is it in America that's like, you know what?
Oh, Willie Mays never won.
Well, but
he Willie McCovey never won, and he's a good guy.
One of the greatest, and baseball's a little different.
It is,
one,
but
and one of the, obviously, we're talking about two of the greatest individual players. Barry Bonds never won,
right? And he doesn't have a statue because he's not necessarily a good guy.
Complexity
to that point.
I wouldn't say it's because he's not a good guy. I don't think the Giants feel that way at all. I think maybe there were some complex things that took place.
I think that if he put aside the cream and or the clear, because this conversation to me is not about that, if he comported himself in a different way interpersonally,
maybe
I believe that he would already be statuified because what he did for that organization
he opened that ballpark.
Yeah, hello.
He opened that ballpark.
What's the monetary value you can put? Barry Bonds comes over in 92. The team decides not to move and sell in 93, and Bonds stops playing baseball in, I think, 07, right? Was about his last year somewhere in there. What happened to that organization from a valuation standpoint
oh my God.
From 92 to 07? And Barry, his role in that was probably worth about $1 billion. Yet, he doesn't have a statue. Why? It's because of the controversial nature of his personage.
But I don't think it was because he quote-unquote annoyed people or you didn't like I could make the case that the way he handled the media robbed him of some MVP awards. And if he had more MVP awards, would he XYZ? Maybe. But I think that guy, the whole situation is obvious. It's complex. There's controversy surrounding it. And that's why. But nobody's looking at Barry and being like, you know what? I didn't like the way you talked to me. So no statue for you. The organization loves the guy.
I wonder why they haven't gone to that level then. Because Major League Baseball has no bearing. The Hall of Fame has no bearing on what you want to do with your piece of land. And yet they have never gone to that point. And I make this point because the Warriors can have the same conversation about Draymond Green. Either I don't care what he did with XYZ ref or former teammates or whatever, we're giving him a statue, or they could think the other way.
For whatever reason, it takes a whole lot of time. I mean, Will Clark just got there now.
Yeah.
And Will Clark was pre-Bonds. So, I don't know. 5 years from now, they may well announce that. You know what I mean? I could see that happening. And even, in fact, Bonds is a great example into the conversation that we're having now. There are no Giants fans who are like, man, I loved watching Barry, but I don't like the way he treated people, and I don't like that steroid stuff. I hear none of that. All I hear is, damn it, he should be in the Hall of Fame. It's the greatest thing I ever saw in my life. That's all I hear.
Well, now.
Right, because time.
15 years.
Time heals. That's what we're talking about with Draymond. I think people are going to look back on him and love him, period.
Over time, absolutely.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah.
I think right now, and you did the thing at Juan Vino with the crowd, like, who wants him to stay? Who wants him to go?
Yeah.
And it was, maybe 50-50 either way, but I think, if they win another title, it's going to be 100-0 on, oh, we love you, Draymond.